Baby, how my lovely people. Section 107 Fair Use allows us to talk about it, and that's what we're here to do. Please do not go to your way to dislike anybody we talk about in this video. It is for entertainment and reaction purposes only. It's my opinion and my opinion only. And baby, let's add a little stank onto this disclaimer. It's going to get a little messy, honey, but I'm just here to report what's going on, and unfortunately, the topic is messy, the people involved is messy, and it's just a messy old time. So baby, let's get into it. Honey, this is going to be a long one because we're going to break it all the way down to the very last compound. You know what they say, sit back, strap on your seat. But you never been on a ride like this before. Because, baby, we have got to, and I mean got to, we got to touch on all of it. So let's get on going. Peach has been on a miserable rampage about her family, right? We've seen her go with Akasha. We've seen her go with her mama, her grandma. Wood done caught some slugs. I mean, it was just a mess. But then she also started going off on Mo, who is her sister through her father, Pete. And we couldn't understand why she was on here calling this girl mutt. Now, let me just tell you something. I think that is a very derogatory statement. I think anyone who has any kind of origin of being mixed, anyone who has, a stepfather or things like that follows Pete should be very, very offended by the things that Peach said. But we know the Peach Patch, right? They gonna follow her and they gonna do what Peach says. But we like, why is she out here calling this girl this? This girl don't even mess with her. This girl has made one video pertaining to Peach, and that was when the dad passed away, and Peach was out here calling him all kinds of names, saying he was G-A-Y, and that he had been touched, he really didn't like women, telling all the family secrets, lies, and everything else. So they responded, naturally so. They were grieving, they were upset, they had just lost their father, they were all trying to come together. This man had 26 kids. They trying to figure out who's their siblings, who's their family, and they're trying to do something, and Peach was out here bashing them. After that, you didn't hear nothing. Now, let me tell you, Mo has a really nice TikTok. She does hair. She does great hair. And she is talking about her own life and fashion and things like that. Never once has she addressed Peach, and she does have a lot of followers. So after all these videos that Peach had made about Mo calling her a mutt, Mo had some things to say about Peach, and she came out ablazing. She came out reading, and she came out with a lot to say. So let's take a look at what Mo had to say, and y'all be ready to clutch your pearl.
You're going back into the archives and finding videos from 2 years ago to create beef with somebody who does not think about you, does not mention you, does not watch you. I don't even waste my time watching content that is talking about you that you aren't even in, bitch, because you are non-existent to me, much like you are to your mama, much like you were to Pete, much like you are to even your own husband, baby. We don't think about you. The only, and I do mean the only people who care about you are the people who bond with you over trauma. Baby, I don't have trauma. I don't have those motherfucking problems. I grew up very privileged. I grew up with 2 loving parents. It may not have been our biological father, Pete McIntyre, but I have a daddy, have always had a daddy, still have a daddy who loves me, a mom who loves me, a grandmother who loves me. I've been treated very well. I have lived a very great life, and I'm continuing to do so. So this is what I'm going to say to you, Miss Miserable. While you are focused on this mutt, you stepped off of your pedestal to address a mutt. I'd like for you to think about this. When those people gave you and your children the feeding the little tummy bags, is it because they looked like they had empty stomachs? Is it because your children look like all you do is focus on the man who uses your money to trick off with the other bitches that he fuck with between Manatee County and Hillsborough County? Who knows? I don't know. Listen, baby, go play with your pussy. Don't play with fucking me, because I ain't the one. I don't know you. I don't care to know you. I don't speak about me a much. I'm definitely going to come and address you. You looking good. If I ask the people right now to post in the comments a video of you looking good from head to toe, we will not find it. Don't play with me, Peach. We can do this. I don't think you want to, but we can.
Oh, no. Not the fashion, honey, not the kids, not the stomach, not the body build, not the dirty house, not the dirty car. When I tell y'all, Mo came out here and she emptied the clip in a classic, classy, nice little read for Peach. But you would have thought Peach would have learned right then that she was not the one to play with, right? You think that Peach would learn, hey, this one right here, she got time and energy and she about to throw it at me. Maybe I should be quiet. But no. And Peach fashion, she kept going. Peach came back at Mo and she did this little video where she's showing screenshots of her and Mo's conversation. way back from 2016, just saying, hey, you may not know me, but I'm Mo. It seems that we share the same father. And, I've been following you in a Facebook group. Let's keep this in mind. A Facebook group that Mo did pay for to join. So Peach made money off of Mo. And they were just kind of conversating. It was nothing that was tea. I mean, come on. If you know that a man that has 26 children, right? 26, 24, how many, they still don't really know. And you find out that this is your sister. As a woman, you probably would reach out and try to get to know your siblings, or maybe even just say, hey, I do exist. That is just typical family things. It is nothing that she asked you for. It was nothing that she wanted. It was nothing that she said that was any kind of tea or even anything to talk about. And that was way back in 2016. This is 2025. Their father passed away in 2023, and there was no communication between all of those years between her and Mo. I'm going to guess, like Mo said, she realized Peach was on that BS and just left it alone. But Peach thought she had the tea, honey, coming out here with those little screenshots saying, yeah, Mo has talked to me and I done, tried to get to know her, but I don't want nothing to do with my family. But honey, just when you thought you was dropping tea and just when you thought you had some bombs on Mo, baby, Mo done came back yesterday and she done dropped some tea and some bombs that's about to blow everybody's socks off. So y'all just sit back and take a listen to everything that Mo had to say.
McIntyre would like for you all to go back over there and ask that mutt why her name isn't McIntyre.
A hoe with 9 children done finally risen from the dead. Bitch, it's been 48 hours and I had this, and then you decided to delay because you didn't know where else the fuck to go. But now that we are here, the best that you could come up with is about my last name. So let's go ahead and clear this up, Sugarfoot, so you can find something else, because that ain't it. So, although we come from the same nutsack, Miss Rotten Fruit McIntyre, I am cut from a completely different cloth than you. I come from a family of dignity, a family of standard, a family of private education. I come from a family where openly dating William McKinley McIntyre was not accepted by my grandmother. See, unlike your mom probably and a few of the other moms who were just older women and groupies of Pete while he was Pete the Meat, the stripper, my mother is the person that he was trying to date while he was in high school. I know this because this is what he's told me, my mother has told me, and even my grandmother. Speaking of Granny, so Granny is the person who said, no ma'am, not my daughter, you will not date that man. So while my mom, years later, was a student at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, better known as FAMU, studying to become a respiratory therapist, she had a night of rebellion and she conceived me with Pete McIntyre. Being that she's a woman of standard in education, she knew better than to have a child by a man who ain't have shit going on, bitch. She gave me to my daddy, and she gave me to my daddy from birth. That's why Kenny will never be motherfucking called a stepdaddy, bitch. That's my daddy, the biggest stepper. Yes, stepdaddy, never. That being said, bitch, I ain't got your daddy last name because I ain't know the nigga. My mama ain't want me to know the nigga. While your mama and the other mamas was begging for him to be a daddy, Pete was begging my mama to be my dad.
So once Mo came out and cleared up the fact that she didn't really want to be sisters with Peach, she didn't want no relationship with Peach, Peach kept on poking, right? Making more mutt videos. So what did Mo do? Mo came out here and said, baby, I'm going to unleash it all. And then she came out and just start dropping bombs on Wood, baby mama. Honey, y'all, I'm telling y'all now, warning, it's a little rough. But take a listen, because I didn't say it, honey. I'm just here to report on it.
Hey, yo. Peach, come here, sweetie. So I was just thinking, I see that you're posting videos and screenshots from when I messaged you about a Facebook group in 2016, and I was saying thank you for, teaching us in the group that I paid to enter in 2023 for Facebook Reels content monetization. I see that you're posting that. You're digging deep into the archives again. But let's go a little bit deeper, Miss Rotten Fruit. Why are we not talking about the fact that your husband impregnated an 11, 12, or 13-year-old? We're a little hazy on the details of baby girl's age, but we definitely know she was in elementary school when your husband, who was of the age of maybe 16, 17, 18, impregnated this child in Sulphur Springs, aka the Springs. So I don't know if you know, but bitch, you know I'm from Tampa too. And they couldn't wait to call me with that tea. So while you are so focused on digging up shit that I sent you in the past, let's address your husband being a pedo and liking children, and you married to him and got around your motherfucking kids. Let's address that, sis.
Now, Wood, we gonna need you to come to the front of the room. We know it may take you a while. We know you ain't good with directions. We know you pedal backwards. We know you sitting over there with them lumps on top of your head and that, weary look in your eyes. But, honey, we need you to come to the front of the classroom. Because this woman just came out here and told some stuff that we all is like, what's the truth about? Honey, you was in high school and then the woman was in elementary school, and that is your oldest daughter that you have that is made you a grandfather, the one that you will not talk to. But, honey, we're going to get into that a little more. But we got to stick with the facts. We was sitting out here and we was waiting on Peach to come out here and drop a bombshell, right? And say that, no, this is not my husband. This did not happen with my husband. But instead she sat there, right? And she came out and she showed pictures of his oldest daughter and that she had been at their house. And, I know about his secret daughter. I've always known. Honey, so you just solidified the fact that it was the truth. We all knew he had an older daughter, Dodo Head. We all knew, right, that he had a daughter that, like I said, has grandchildren, and that was a lot older than his other children. We knew that. It wasn't about the secret, you dodo bird. It was about the fact that the ages they were when the child was conceived. But she didn't clear it up. No, instead she sat over there and she laughed about it and she giggled about it, showing pictures and reminiscing. And I was just like, oh, so you saying it's true. But the dumb old Peach Patch was like, thanks for clearing it up, Peach. What was cleared up? You just said, yes, there's a child that exists. But then later on in the evening, here comes Peach, right? Here we go again. And she makes a video saying that the mother of the child was very upset, right? And supposedly got in her comments somewhere, but we don't know where because she didn't tell us from where. She just put up some screenshot that could be made up or whatever. But she claims the woman was upset that she had put pictures of the daughter up there because the daughter don't mess with Peach, the daughter don't mess with Wood, and the daughter don't do nothing. She claims that the woman said, just keep sending child support and stay away from my child. So what does Peach do? She gets out here and she starts counting a load of money and telling everybody how rich she is and talking about the woman. Even put up a picture of the woman. She also says, right, that you'll never get all your child support. It'll take years upon years. We're only going to send you a little bit at a time. So keep on waiting. She also goes on to say, and this is Peach, that Wood did double back and go back to the big girl and enjoy being with her. Peach says that Wood had told her that that was the first time he had an orgasm sleeping with his first baby mama ever, and that's why he supposedly likes big women. Once again, she was off topic, and she was being gross, and she was being vulgar, and she was oversharing, and it cleared up nothing. She goes on to say, well, look what she said in the comments, y'all. She said, yes, she did get pregnant at 12, and she did have the baby at 13, and she cleared it up because Will was only a few years older than her. Honey, that didn't clear nothing up. What's the few years older than her? We all trying to figure out what's the few years. So Peach, instead of addressing that her husband was a lot older than the baby mama, still threw slugs at the baby mama, right? She continues to say, well, it's your fault. Why was you 12 in the 5th grade? You a little bit slow. Was you held back? We need to figure out why. Are you over there still trying to pronounce cat? Joking that this lady has some mental issue. Now, let me just say this. I don't believe that Peach should be trying to talk about anybody being slow and anybody doing anything. This is a woman who can barely read and stumble over simple words. This is a woman who literally went out and got a man that's going to be on Social Security for the rest of his life because he is as slow as a snail on concrete, hot concrete at that. He pedals backwards. He don't even know how to read. You sit and try and read to him. This is a woman who does not hold her children to the fire, and they are academically behind like nobody's business. And she thinks that by sitting here and pretending that her, brain goes to the penthouse when we know it's stuck in the basement level, that is something. But let me tell you what I took out of it. You're sitting here and you're talking about this woman, and then all you had to say was, maybe I'll go and put $400 on your child support. Maybe you need money. Peach. No, money makes you feel good. Money is the only thing that you have to keep your man around. Money is the only thing that you have and these people that follow you that makes you feel good and gives you attention. Because the man that you laying next to is out here in the streets showing everybody attention and love but you. You think that money pays for something. You think that money rules everybody. No, that's just you and your man. Let me tell you something. If this girl was in fifth grade, it doesn't matter if she was in fifth grade in 12 or whatever, and your husband was in high school when this child was conceived, that makes him sick and twisted. Then if you're calling this girl slow because she was 12 and in the fifth grade, I look at it this way, that he doubled down. Not only did he take advantage of someone who was younger than him, he obviously took advantage of someone who had some mental delays, maybe some disabilities, and maybe couldn't make decisions for themselves, seeing as though they were 12 and they were deciding to sleep with someone. Okay, let's just put it that way. It looks really, really bad, and it sounds really, really bad. A lot of people have said, why wasn't he charged? They claim, hey, they were still both underage, even though he was probably the age of 16, 17, 18, because we don't know what age it was. We just know he was in high school. They claim he was still underage at the time, so he was probably more towards 16. It makes it terrible. It's sick. Let's just talk about this for a second. Let me say this. When Peach came out here, she had a story, if you guys remember, about Wood having a child that lived in Alabama, and he was saying that it wasn't his child, and he was saying that he didn't want to buy shoes. And remember, she was at Wood mama house, and the mama went and bought shoes, and the mama was taking care of the baby, and the mama loved the grandbaby, but Wood had nothing to do with it. She also said that the girl lived in Alabama and moved to Alabama. So what it sounds like to me, with common sense, is that this little girl got pregnant. Some things went wrong. Maybe some parents even had some words. They hurried up and moved from Florida to Alabama because they didn't know what was going on, and got that little girl away from Wood so she could go and have this baby. It sounds like Wood's mother felt embarrassed and was very, very shocked. So she decided to step up and be a grandmother and to help him take care of the baby because he was a deadbeat. It also sounds very fishy when you get out here and tell stories that you were 16 and in high school when you met your husband, and your husband was over the age of 18. He was out here driving, because remember, Peach got out here, my mama wouldn't take me to work. She wouldn't pick me up. But Wood, my husband, he had a car and he was the man and he would come and pick me up. Sounds like he was taking advantage of you because he knew you were broken. He knew you were younger, and he knew you were going to allow him to step over you like a doormat. What grown man that's out here driving and done graduated high school is still pedaling backwards up to the high school to go find a girlfriend? Yeah, I think he knew exactly what he was finding. He might not be the brightest bulb in the bunch when it comes to academics, but honey, he's very street smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that he uses his wood to hypnotize dum-dum and dodos. And what's the best way to do that? Go find a young person that he knows has issues, and then guess what? Take advantage of them and make them fall in love with him, have children by him, and be tied to him for the rest of their life. Now, I'm not going to use the word pedo like everyone else is because he was never convicted or charged, but I will say that it sounds like he is a sick, twisted individual. That's exactly what I would say. I would also say that the story has a lot of holes in it, but it makes a lot of sense. When CPS shows up and they make these allegations against Wood, Peach is the first one to say, oh, it's the PAHs from the internet. Baby, we didn't know nothing about what Wood was doing out there in the streets with these young girls until yesterday. It sounds like somebody close to you and your family is calling CPS because they know exactly what Wood is about. They see what he's doing in the street and they know his past. So that would make sense. Stop blaming it on the internet, Peach. These are people that are in your own backyard. It also makes sense to why you cut all your family off, because they know the truth about Wood. And they probably tell you, watch him, keep an eye on him. Why you leaving all these kids with him? Why you not keeping an eye on your children? I'm pretty sure they be reading you down for filth and you don't like it. So instead you sit in your closet office, and you pick and pick and pick until they finally explode and clap back at you. And I just want to know what happened with CPS the last time they was there, because baby, they obviously put their foot right up in her butt, because Peach don't leave that house whatsoever. Peach made a office in a closet and has been sitting there having a mental breakdown ever since, because she can't go to Starbucks and dance and break it down in front of stores. What's got you stuck at home all of a sudden, Peach? What's got you up in that closet? Something got your panties in a twist, and I think it's gonna keep on falling on out. I think all the skeletons gonna fall out. I think it's a lot of sick, twisted, disturbing things going on over there, and I think that the two people who are at the core of it is Peach and Wood. Honey, I done got out here and said a lot, and I have to thank y'all for watching and sticking with me this long, but I can't go down this rabbit hole and keep getting messy and keep getting gross, because it's giving me a stomach ache. As a mother, as a person, just hearing about it, baby, you better be happy it wasn't none of my kids, Wood, that you was doing this stuff with, because baby, I wouldn't care what age you was. If you was underage, honey, you'd be walking around with a gimp, a limp, and be happy to be walking around if you still could. Now, I know I done threw a lot at y'all, and I know there's a lot to process and a lot to handle, because, honey, it's giving me a little bit of anxiety. So, I'm going to thank y'all for watching and sticking with me this long. I'm going to thank y'all for all being here. I hope that y'all have y'all a wonderful day. And I'm pretty sure this has a lot of layers and a lot of levels that's going to continue to come out. And, baby, we going to talk about it. Now, I can't wait to see what everybody else has to say in the replay and in the comments. But, baby, thank y'all for being here. And y'all have yourself a wonderful weekend. I'll see y'all later. Toodles.